I'm just going to hold this. Everybody hear me okay? It's actually 28 years now I've been practicing in East Valley, and all my kids went to Corona del Sol High School, so this is familiar and nice to be back. I want to say, first of all, it was a very nice introduction, and I want to thank everybody on the coalition for putting on this program and for inviting me to speak. This is a very, very, very serious problem, and I want us all to just take a deep breath and think about how serious social media has become. Katie showed a lot of apps that are very important. I'm going to talk in a little bit about some of the apps that have caused some of my patients to attempt suicide. It doesn't get much worse than that. These are our children. These are our future. These are your pride and joy. When a little baby's born, it's the most precious thing we can see. I see them every day in the hospital. I was talking to a new set of parents just the other day about how beautiful their baby is. As I've been doing this for tons of years, but every time I see a newborn, it's a miracle. All babies are miracles. Even terrorists start off as a wonderful little newborn, and then something happens along their development that turns them into people that want to kill other people. Kids, like Katie said, their brain has not fully developed. It's very important that you remember that. Children want their parents' approval, they want their parents' love, and they need your discipline. Okay, that's very important. If they lose that link with you and switch that link over to their peers, then we've lost the battle. Because then they fall into the realm of social influence. Self-esteem is critical, and you start building self-esteem in your children from day one. Just shower them with love and affection and teach them your views of what's right and wrong. They want you to approve them. So I want to tell you a couple of things. Stress and anxiety are huge in our communities across the world, across the United States. Studies have shown that 50%, 1 out of 2 of every college freshman suffers from anxiety and depression to some degree. That's a startling statistic, and I was stunned when I saw it. But I see it in my practice every day. Our kids are so stressed out that they turn to anything, whether it's drugs, alcohol, apps, friends doing weird things, to calm their mind. We need to be there for them. So one of the biggest problems with our society is stress and anxiety. Social media is a huge component of contributing to stress and anxiety. Social media can be a very positive thing. I don't want to just be negative the whole time about social media. There are times when there's a social group and someone can send out a group text and everybody's alerted to the time and date has changed for football practice or something like that. There are positive things you can use this for. Our world is so connected now that people are in touch with everybody around the world. Somebody sends out a tweet, people in Russia, Hungary, every country in the world can see it immediately. Okay, we've all seen positive influences of that in ways of communicating disasters and getting people to get together and help fight that disaster. But social media can be a huge negative as well. And Katie showed a lot of good slides. I was very impressed with her talk. And I think it's important that we remember the developing brain of the children that we're raising. And these kids are not fully developed yet. Their brains are not fully developed. And studies have shown that even just screen time, even a lighted screen, for them to be sitting in their bed at night and looking at an iPad or a cell phone, just that light itself messes up their serotonin levels and they cannot sleep. Serotonin is a sleep hormone. Katie talked about cortisol, the stress hormone. The cortisol levels, when they rise from stress, say tomorrow's a big test, maybe it's the SAT, maybe it's a final. They're texting their friends at midnight. They're not getting sleep. One of their friends sends them a Snapchat and it's something that makes them upset. Now they don't sleep. Their cortisol levels go up. Cortisol erases short-term memory. All the studying they've done is gone, and they fail the test the next day. We don't know, they don't know why they failed it, but there are studies that show this is the effect of those hormones on the developing brain. They've shown that the constant bombardment, kids today text each other on the average of 5 to 6 times per hour. How can you get anything done? Think about it yourself. You all have jobs, you're working. You're constantly getting a text. You stop, you look at it. Now, do you respond to it or not? How can you get anything done in this society if you're constantly being bombarded with texts, Snapchats, Instagrams, Facebook? Our society needs to learn to put things in their proper perspective. And the kids, a lot of them have not learned that at all. And they are a slave to their phone, to their iPad, to all of these apps. So I want you to also think about the impact it has on their social self-esteem. If someone sends somebody a text, a Snapchat, any of these different forms of social media, and they don't get a response back right away, not all kids, but some kids, I see them in my practice all the time, they become depressed because now they think, oh, Joey doesn't like me anymore. Susie doesn't like me anymore. I just sent her a Snapchat and she hasn't responded. So what does that mean? You know, years ago, before we had all this, people would write a letter to their friends. It'd take 3 days to get there. I don't know if we could live in that world anymore where it took 3 days to understand if your friend still liked you or not, okay? So the kids today take it way too seriously. And it's our job to teach them. And I think what Katie said, a lot of parents have not taken the time to learn these apps. I mean, how many of you even know what Snapchat is? Just raise your hands. How many of you know what Ask FM is? This is one that has been a serious problem with depression in my practice. I want to say the immediacy of getting a response right away is a huge problem. I've had patients in my practice, brother and sister, sitting in the exam room. They're sitting right next to each other, and they're texting each other. And I look at them and say, why can't you guys just talk to each other? And they come up with all kinds of different ideas. But they're texting each other. I have a couple other cases I want to go through before my time runs out. I'm going to go through 3 cases. These are real life cases. I've changed the names. But these are serious social media consequences. First is going to be Norma. She's a 15-year-old girl in my practice. Wonderful, beautiful, wonderful family. She's doing well in school, but somehow she learns about this Ask FM app. She posts on there whether she's beautiful or not. She's asking some random app. She has no idea who's going to answer her, whether she's beautiful. The answer comes back, no, you're not beautiful, you're fat. She goes into a deep depression and takes an overdose on drugs, and we have to put her in the hospital. Luckily, she survives, and then we go through psychiatric care to combat her depression and talk to her about these apps and what they do. Her family was distraught. She took about 6 months to realize that this app is not someone you ask a question. So like Katie said, Ask FM is one you want to just have your kids just stay away from. And the kids take it so seriously. Why would she even listen to that? Okay? So that is a serious problem. The next case I want to talk to you about is a adolescent female. Her name's Ethel. Changed it for our speaking here tonight. And she was having some significant abdominal pain. I had to admit her to the hospital to do a workup. And I went to the hospital after the office was done to go see her, do her admission physical and her orders. And I go in the room. I say hi. She and her brother are sitting in the bed. They both have their electronic devices out. Mom and Dad are standing in a corner. And I say, hi guys, I'm going to wash my hands and come over and examine you now, Ethel. She doesn't even look up at me. Nobody looks at me, actually. I'm wondering if I'm even in the right room. So I go over and I say, I need to examine you. Can you put down your laptop? The mom actually says to me, now think about this. How many of you would just say this to the doctor who's admitting your kid in the hospital? The mom actually says to me, Doctor, can't you see she's busy texting? I was stunned. I'd never heard anything like that before. So I basically said to the parents, I said, well, that's okay. I can come back tomorrow morning. This is an expensive hospital bed, hotel room for the night, because insurance won't pay for it if I don't do admission orders and put in the orders. The mom and dad have a powwow. They actually have to think about it and talk to each other. And then they go over to the girl, honey, could you put the computer down so the doctor can examine you? She growls at them angrily and closes the laptop. Another case just like that is a 3-year-old boy in my practice who is sitting there with his mom's iPhone. Maybe it's his own iPhone. I don't know. The kids have everything these days. And he's playing a game. I come in the room and I say, okay, we're going to need to put that down so I can check you. The mom says to me, good luck. I look at her like, what do you mean, good luck? She says, go ahead. He's not going to put it down. So here's a huge problem in parenting. So I go to take the phone from the little guy. I'm being nice. I'm saying, hey, how are you? He growls at me like a dog, like he's going to bite. I'm like, well, I don't need to get rabies today, so I'm just going to leave the room. I told Mom, I'm going to leave the room. When I come back, if you've got the phone and he's ready to examine, we'll get on with it. Otherwise, you're going to have to reschedule. I've got other patients to see. I came back in the room. They were fighting like cats and dogs, and it ended up they had to reschedule. No control at all over their children. The social media has just taken over the minds of the children. I can't say it enough, stress it enough, how influential these devices are. And like we heard in the previous talk, these devices are taking over the world. And I think the last one is a serious one. I have 2 seconds. Instagram, videos, posting pictures. This is very serious. One of my adolescent female patients tried to commit suicide. She overdosed on Tylenol, was in the ICU with close to hepatic failure because another girl who's supposed to be her friend put on Instagram a video. I wouldn't even play it here because the language is so atrocious. The name she called this other girl, the accusations she made, she actually said in the video, you should go and kill yourself because nobody likes you. You're trash. And she went on and on. The girl went and tried to kill herself. Okay? Again, no self-esteem, no ability to say, forget it. Okay? She tried to kill herself. All right? And this girl, the other part they don't understand, the kids don't understand, the girl who posted this video is now under arrest and being involved with the police for attempted murder. So the kids, they're all kids, but they don't realize how serious it is what they're doing. So I don't know if my time is up, but I thank you very much, and I appreciate the time I've had, and hopefully you'll be able to talk to your kids.